All right. Yeah. And we are
Miss Acey, would
back
you again
to.
replace my béarnaise sauce and sauce velouté with cheddar?
Right.
Those are the specialties I went all the way to get.
We're going
They tasted
into
awful.
Showdown in Chinatown. Rendering seems to be working fine, even though I upgraded the resolution a little bit. We are now on episode 13 out of a little bit over 20, probably. Let me check. I want to check volume in this. It's a little high. Ooh, that works really well. Now it's mapped to game output. And let's go to story. Let's change back to... I might need to export that stronger to stream. Let me check. I'll handle that later.
What? What do you mean?
Loggerhead turns to her friend, then to Pugdog, then back to Liang. She remains totally expressionless.
The truth was always there, hidden beneath the lies and distractions. All you have to do is whittle them down, one by one. The probable cause of the events in Chinatown is the reunion of the three swallows film reel.
Oh.
Apparently, Miss Noah has a history with it.
I did post that good. And yet, the specifics of this history remain unclear. Liang glances at Noir, only to be met with her signature unreadable smile.
But Miss Noah doesn't have anything to do with the Foundation. There's no way she could sneak into the ACD and steal the film. The same goes for this gentleman or any other outsider. So, the thief who wants Miss Latham to take the fall must work for the Foundation. In fact, since they stole the item without being noticed, they probably work for the ACD, and they must be close to Miss Latham to know enough about her amnesia to be able to take advantage of it.
But loads of people at the ACD know about my condition. You can't pin it on Scott just from that.
For the first time, the ever-cheerful Loggerhead takes on a harsh, indignant tone. She stamps her foot and turns to her friend.
That's way too harsh, right, Scott? Right? Scott? Say something, will you?
Scott only stares at the floor as she tries to calm her quivering breath. How long have you known?
How long have you known?
Scott has finally managed to force out a few words.
Since Miss Latham said you were good friends, with all due respect, your plan was far from perfect.
Ugh, I knew it. You brought me along so this guy would call me out.
After a long sigh, Scott lifts her head, speaking with a resigned kind of ease.
You're right. I messed up. My plan was far from perfect because, well, I couldn't stick to the so-called plan since the very beginning. I didn't know the Foundation was already investigating the theft until after I'd hidden the items in Loggerhead's room. Then I had no choice but to use this idiot as the scapegoat. I never thought she'd accidentally bring the film to LA, or that I'd be ordered to investigate the case.
Wow.
I worked with this guy a long time ago, and the trade site happened to be in LA too. So, my plan was to get the film back and sell it right afterwards. But things didn't go as smoothly as I thought. I shouldn't have gotten greedy, or been so nice to this dummy.
She shoots a piercing glare at Loggerhead before quickly looking away, whether out of disdain or avoidance is unclear.
But, we're friends, aren't we?
Her voice is as fragile as bitter glass. Scott shatters it with a scoff.
Friends? Don't be ridiculous. I don't know how you can act like nothing's wrong when literally everyone is laughing at you. And the fact that they thought that I was one of your kind. Ugh, what an insult. I only hung out with you because I had no choice. You're an idiot who forgets everything every 3 days. It's your own damn fault. Anyone looking for a scapegoat would immediately think of you.
Quit it. I don't want to hear any more of your BS.
Scott scoffs once more, refusing to look at her friend for even a second.
Hands up, Miss Scott. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Wait, you're still going to fight?
All right. Yeah, good team from last time.
Stay behind me. I'll keep us safe.
But how? She doesn't have the reel anymore. How can she summon these monsters? She's been deeply corrupted. The ghost plagues have latched onto her. She didn't summon them. They were always lurking within her. Get back. Stay away. This isn't over. I haven't made her acknowledge me. I still have a plan. I still... Her mind is starting to unravel already. Portier, we have to take her down now. Right?
Just another shift. What I'm
Flutter Page does his stuff.
with you. Up to that's it. Yes.
Another, okay. Flutter Page ult. This one. Continuous action. That sounds still useful.
Just another shift.
And do Bang Yue's
Please stay
attack. Set up for a super next round.
And deep in the clouds. Laundry time.
Laundry time. Haha.
Stay away from me.
Wonder if she doesn't have her buff on. Does she not get in the second hit?
Away from me.
Alright, Scott's down.
Case closed. I'll be sure to write a report and put it on your table. And please don't forget to check the previous reports too, ma'am.
At last, Scott gives up her resistance. Liang pushes her towards Poitier's patrol car parked around the corner. As they're about to step out of the alley, Loggerhead calls out.
Wait! I have to know. Why did you steal from the Foundation?
Does it matter?
Scott turns back, laughing coldly in disbelief.
Would you feel better if I had a reason? Oh, please. Your ignorant, stupid little brain makes me sick. It was for the money, of course. And to prove to the others that I'm not a bloody fool like you. Imagine the shock on their faces when they discovered that I did what none of them could. Those so-called unbreakable arcane security skills were easy to deal with as long as
Her words trail off and a puzzled expression crosses her face.
You what? How did you bypass the Foundation security?
I don't remember. That's weird. How could I forget? All I remember is that an office lady talked to me in the corridor.
An office lady? When? What did you talk about?
She showed me something. It was a bit dazzling, but very beautiful. It was... Oh, right! It was
A razor-sharp silver needle slices through the air, cutting her off in an instant. She raises a dazed hand, her fingertips touching the foreign object lodged in her throat, not understanding why her voice has suddenly vanished. By the time she's realized she can no longer breathe, her eyes roll back and she falls to the ground. Silence falls in the starlit alley. Then another flash of silver whistles by. What? A sharp pain booms in her palm. Then she looks down to see a sharp silver needle pierced in it. The film slips from her grasp. The wheel rolls across the ground, clicking as it hurtles into the darkness until a gloved hand picks it up and brushes it off.
Still intact. You've got no idea how long I've been looking for this.
You are...
Hey there, kid. We meet again.
The once famous star smiles at Liang with an easy, friendly charm.
No fucking way. Is she dead?
Not yet, but I doubt she can hold on much longer. I'll call an ambulance, and we're gonna need backup.
Loggerhead's scream, Pugdog's cry, and Poitier's tense voice all ring in Liang's mind. Liang's rationality has already grasped the reality of the situation, but her emotions are refusing to let her shape the conclusion into clear words.
Why are you doing this?
When Loggerhead posed a similar question to Scott, Liang had questioned the inquiry. There is no need to ask why evil chooses to do evil. What's wrong is wrong. Evil must be eradicated. Ghost plagues must be purged. That was the doctrine drilled into Liang since childhood. But now, she finds herself forced to act the same thing.
Tell me. I need a reason.
It's my old friend that you should be asking.
Liang watches as Qi Qing's smile fades and her face turns steely.
Long time no see. Nor.
Yeah, it's been a while. The last time we saw each other was in front of her grave, if memory serves. We really should keep in touch more often.
The air in the alley is as sharp as a needle. War continues to smile, but a wariness lurks behind her eyes.
But you've gone too far this time, my friend.
She glances at Scott's fallen body and gently shakes her head.
This isn't part of our story.
This isn't a set, director. It's not your call.
She raises a hand and a flash of silver pierces through the darkness.
Careful!
She leaps forward, deflects the needles, and stands firm in front of the wheelchair. Qi Qing shows no surprise. She narrows her eyes a little as if she foresaw this outcome.
That's the spirit. This should be fun with you here, little Vigil. Let's all play our roles, shall we?
Interesting. Lit screen, lit eyes. Chapter 14. Chinatown. Night. Chinatown alley at night. And it looks like a battle. And let's try the other team.
Harmony is precious.
Got a new skin. Time has come for you to uphold your duty, Miss Vigil. I won't hold back, Miss Chi-Ching.
Perfectly understood. Do you have a little faith in me, Master? Feel my dark embrace. Is that a bear? Ready? Aim.
I've got some trouble brewing.
Channel shot and then boost.
Some people really have a mind of its own. Stay put. This will hurt longer than you.
Alright, that was an easy fight. No, wait, don't let your guard down, kid. She's not done yet. What? This power, it doesn't look like it's hers. Heh.
Everything went smoothly. Shall we have another round?
Lit screen, lit eyes. The hell? I thought
movie stars were just empty suits.
Another volley of silver needles streaks through the air, forcing Liang and Poitier back. Qi Ching stands at the center of the alley. Although seemingly trapped between Liang and Poitier, she skillfully uses their positioning to her advantage. Neither officer can risk injuring the other by firing their gun or using an arcane skill, leaving the battle at a
We're
deadlock.
not going to last much longer. I have to do something. Podia, cover me. 强梁既出，王有不为。
With the ritual vessel of Qiang Liang in her hand, Liang recites the ancient incantation, each syllable clear and deliberate. Qi Ching looks momentarily stunned. This is the beginning of an incantation. Liang knows that more silver needles could come flying at her at any moment.
杀兄舅。
For a brief moment, hesitation creeps over her. As a child, she sat before the screen and watched this figure over and over again, her eyes filled with admiration. She had mimicked her arcane skill countless times, but she never imagined that one day those silver needles would be aimed at her
小姐不行。
and cleanse this place. Yet she still speaks the final words of the incantation. With these words, an ancient contract will be upheld, and the Xiandao beast will be called upon to devour all evil, as is her right and as a descendant of the Liang family. At least that's what's supposed to happen. But the alley remains as empty as it was before.
Rookie, watch out!
Someone pushes her aside, she hits the ground hard, a flash of silver, then blood, a body falling, a sticky sensation, warmth, and chaos. The events that follow are hazy in Liang's memory. Training isn't over. Stand firm. A sharp reprimand shatters her haze, pulling her back to focus. A familiar courtyard, a man with a familiar face. In front of him, a little girl stands in horse stance, sweat rolling down her forehead. Her legs are trembling. Yet the man's ebony ruler comes down mercilessly on the girl's shoulder. Wrong. Shoulders and elbows down. Relax your body and mind. How many times do I have to repeat myself? Two small heads peek over the courtyard wall, giggling and whispering to each other.
他就撑不住了，活该！谁叫他向老师告密的？
The boy makes a goofy face at the girl holding the stance. The girl, already exhausted, finally loses her balance and collapses to the ground.
疏于练功，三心二用，你看看你怠惰了多少！以这样的体魄，强梁又如何能服从你？
You don't come to training, you're distracted, and you're lazy. How could Qiang Liang obey such an undisciplined master? Get up, I'll come back later. If you can't do it by sundown, there will be no dinner tonight. The man, her father, shakes his head in disappointment and walks away, leaving the girl gasping for breath on the ground.
走吧走吧，没意思，他又要站一天了。哎，好呀，去街角那家吧。今天他们家放神秘警探407。
Sure, the one on the corner is playing Detective C07 today. The children hop down from the wall, laughing as they scurry off.
我也想去录像厅。
The theater? I want to go too. No one hears her voice. No one but herself.
I remember it now. I hated Qiangliang when I was little. Father was always trying to teach me something about the 12 Zhenzi, the master of Qiangliang, fighting the wicked and dispelling evil, fulfilling the duty of my inheritance. I was only a child. It was all too difficult for me to understand. The other kids hated me. I was a traitor, a class president who took the side of the adults and enforced the rules. They'd all hang out and have fun together, while I was left alone. I envied them. Their lives were simple. I wanted that.
1角，2角。
1 cent, 2 cents, 5. Her piggy bank lies smashed on the ground as she picks through the shards to count every coin. Amidst the broken porcelain, half of a shattered face stares up at her innocently.
对不起，小
I'm sorry, piggy. She smiles. She gently brushes her fingers over its face in a gesture of comfort or farewell.
That day, I disobeyed father, gathered up all my savings, and headed to the theater. That was the first time I watched Detective C07. It was amazing, but I knew it was just fiction. Just an escape. It wouldn't change anything in my real life. Once the movie was over, I'd have to go back to the same home I had just left. I didn't want to leave. So I stayed in my seat for the closing credits, but the lights didn't come on when the credits ended. Rather, the silver screen lit up again and played something.
Okay.
It was an interview with Qixing.
Miss Chi-Ching, many children love your work and see you as their hero. Yet some adults say that the story of Detective C07 is too unrealistic because she always beats the villain. What's your opinion on this subject? Is it a flaw of the movie? The real world's already a cruel and unfair place. Our movie's idealistic, yes, but it shows us a world where good is rewarded and evil is punished. We need that. If we can't accept justice and truth even in a fictional world, then what hope do we have for reality? Qixing gazes into the camera, but also beyond it. Her smile carefree, her eyes shining even brighter than the stars. C07 is justice, a hero who fights evil and cares for the weak. She'll always bring a happy ending, no matter what she's faced with. One of our goals with this movie and with the character was to inspire and encourage our viewers. We know that most people can't become a C07 in real world. After all, it's an incredibly difficult path to take. But we hope that we can at least inspire people to become heroes in their own lives, to create happy endings for themselves and the people around them.
It was just a short interview like any other. But I still remember every word she said. As the master of Qiangliang, you must use your power to fight the wicked and dispel evil. It It is your duty to maintain the peace of the world, Qiangliang. The powerful being that had always been a blur to me suddenly became clear. I realized that I could be more than just a hero who creates happy endings for herself and the people around her. I could be the hero who creates happy endings for everyone. Just like CO7.
Nice.
She was right. Not everyone can do that, but I could. Because I was Yue of the Liang family, the master of Qiangliang. On that day, the burden that had been crushing me suddenly became a blessing. So,
What went wrong? The image fades as another silver flash brings her back to reality. Sirens, an ambulance, blood, endless blood. It seeps through the fabric of her uniform, drenching her hands. She hears someone shouting. Oh no.
I thought you hated me.
People always hate me. Now she can hear clearly. She realizes it's her own voice, hoarse with desperation. What did Poitier say to her back then? Blood bubbles from her mouth and nose with each painful breath.
We just didn't know you yet.
A blood-stained hand weakly pats Liang's cheek before falling limp.
No, please,
Ugh, will you shut up? I'm not dead yet.
Ugh. A thunderous smack, unbelievable, from someone confined to a hospital bed, jerks Liang awake from her nightmare. Liang's head throbs. Dazed, she looks around, taking in the sterile white of the hospital room and the irritated face of her instructor.
What are you doing sleeping on my thigh, huh? My leg's gone numb. And clean up the drool on your chin.
What? I'm sorry.
Just kidding, boo. You're not drooling. All right, turn on the TV for me. I was bored out of my mind waiting for you to wake up.
Man, they really turned that from a normal fight into something really dramatic. Welcome to the arcade restaurant. May I take your order? So what happened next? After I passed out, how'd you manage to drive off the Night Piercer? We didn't drive her off. She left when she heard sirens from the reinforcements you called. Chief Eldon arrived. Director Noir used arcane skills to control her puppets and guide them to you. That allowed the medics to reach you and Mistress and Mrs. Scott in time to get you to the hospital. Sounds like we owe her a big thank you. Sorry, Miss Poitier. I couldn't stop Qixing. She took the reunion of the Three Swallows. This is all my fault. Don't beat yourself up, kid. No one expected the Night Piercer to show up like that. How are Scott and Pugdug holding up? Pugdug's been caught and is in custody. Miss Scott is stable after emergency treatment, but she hasn't regained consciousness just yet. Doctors believe her coma, like those of the other victims, was caused by the reunion of the Three Swallows. The department has officers guarding her, but until the case is solved, we can't expect her to provide any useful information. As for Director Noir, sorry, I should have informed you earlier. She's the one who ticked me off about the illegal arcane artifact deal. Though she participated in the deal, her honesty, cooperation, and her lawyer's efforts convinced the department not to pursue her case further. Typical of Hollywood. Director can go from criminal to collaborator in just a few words. We should talk to her again about Miss Qixing and about that reel. There's more that she hasn't told us. That's all important. This just in.
Tall officer, are you up? I got you guys Chinese food. You must be hungry.
Thanks, Laggerhead. The two officers are both staring intently at the television screen. Paper cups in their hands are crumpled tight. Multiple people injured, possible link to Nightpiercer.
At the scene and are now in critical condition at the hospital. The victims include arcane black market dealer Castor and Chicago gang leader Jason the Coyote, both of whom have since been acquitted of their crimes.
Behind the reporter, thick black smoke billows from the scene of a car accident. Flames lick at the oil spilled on the road, sending waves of searing heat into the air.
Cameras out of the way! Out of the way! The ambulance needs to come through! We need banana bag staff! These people could go into shock! Out of my skin! It burns! Help! Help! Whoever you are who did this! Just wait and see! I'll tear you apart, you asshole!
Medical personnel shove past the journalist as they hurry over with the stretcher. The cursing and wailing of the deranged man behind the reporter echo in the background. It sends a chill down their spines.
The fire is speculated to have been started by a victim of a Nightpiercer attack who displayed signs of mental instability. At the same time, similar incidents have occurred at the Lieber Street Detention Center and the Chinatown police station. The situations at both sites are similarly concerning. It has been reported that the Division of Arcane Affairs is considering the potential connections between these incidents. The mysterious figure behind the unresolved Nightpiercer attacks remains their top suspect. As with the previous attacks attributed to the Nightpiercer, the victims of these incidents are once again notorious criminals with extensive records. However, in light of the Nightpiercer's escalating criminal activities, support for the figure is dwindling as concerns for safety rise. In response to ongoing skepticism regarding the lack of resolution of the Nightpiercer case, Deputy Chief Eldon of the Division of Arcane Affairs stated during the press conference that
Portier slams the power button on the remote before flicking it aside. She yanks the IV needle in her hand and grabs her uniform from the bedside.
Pass out for half a day and Qi Xing's already turned the city into her personal playground? Grab your stuff, rookie. We're hitting the road. Gotta find this bitch before she kills someone. What? Your feet stuck to the floor or something?
Portier stops when she notices Liang still sitting motionless. Liang purses her lips, struggling to speak under Poitier's skeptical gaze.
Deputy Chief Eldon took us off the case. It was an official order.
A few hours later, the LA office for the Division of Arcane Affairs fell into an eerie silence.
Early this morning, Constance Scott, a staff member of the Foundation's Arcanum Containment Department, was assaulted during an illegal arcane object trade. She's still in critical condition. Forensic Services has confirmed that the arcane skill traces found at the scene of the attack matched those left by the suspect in the ongoing Nightpiercer case. Thanks to Noir and our Vigils cadet Liang Yue, who are both at the scene of the attack, we've been able to confirm the identity of the Nightpiercer. Name's Qi Xing, a 29-year-old former movie actress from Hong Kong. She played the lead role in the Detective CO7 series, where she gained a reasonable amount of fame. She was in a few more movies after that, but no big hits. She officially retired from acting a few years ago. The BAU's come to the conclusion that she's confused herself with her movie character, possibly a result of a mental imbalance caused by the setbacks in her career. She thinks she's the real-life CO7, the hero who fights evil and cares for the weak. In short, we have a vigilante on our hands. Thanks to a minor mistake from the Foundation's Arcanum Containment Department, we also have a dangerous arcane item. A cursed film reel called Reunion of the Three Swallows, somewhere in the city. Liang has confirmed that Constance Scott, the staff member who was assaulted by Qi Xing yesterday, is the perpetrator of the theft. As you're all aware, there's been an explosion in mental disorders in Chinatown. We now know that their source is the cursed film reel. It's currently in Qi Xing's possession, which makes her even more dangerous. Having learned about the history behind this arcane film, We have reason to believe that obtaining it was one of her motives. Since the film's been in her possession, there have been multiple assaults around the city, all matching the patterns of the Night Piercer. But there's one key difference. This time, the victims all showed the same mental disorder as the victims of the film. We believe that the suspect is able to control the film's power to some extent, and she's using it to commit escalating crimes at a much higher frequency. We need to act before the situation gets out of control. Reinforcements from the Foundation and the Vigils Bureau are already on the way. We will do whatever we can to protect our city before they arrive.
He pauses for a moment as he sweeps his gaze over the officers before him.
James, Carter, I'm putting you on the case. You'll be taking direct orders from me. The rest of you, stick to your posts.
Excuse me, Deputy Chief Alden. I need to ask you something.
I already know what it is.
Before Liang can speak, Alden cuts her off. His tone is calmer than she expected.
You and Poitier saw that something was going on in Chinatown and started an investigation yourselves. You found the culprit behind the ACD theft and stopped an assault that could have ended much worse. You've done a great job.
But then his tone shifts.
But there's one key thing you failed to do. You had a chance to apprehend the Night Piercer right then and there, but somehow she slipped through your fingers. According to your report and the witnesses' statements, you failed to summon your legendary beast when you confronted the suspect. As a result, not only did the suspect get away, but your partner sustained an avoidable injury. I need my best, most reliable officers on this case.
After a brief pause, he delivers his final verdict.
Sorry, Liang, but you don't make the cut. The two of you will be excluded from the operation.
This is bullshit! He can't cut us out! This is our case! No, we're doing this!
Calm down, Miss Putty. Even if you feel fine, the doctor said you had to stay in bed for at least a few days.
The name's Poitier, and I'm fine, okay? Stop trying to...
Facts speak louder than words. Liang gently leads Poitier back down to the bed. This time, Poitier doesn't resist.
Damn it. So what went wrong? How come your friend, Tang Ling was it, didn't show up?
Xiang Liang must have sensed my hesitation and refused my summon. You see, if its master can overcome their selfish desires with an unwavering heart, it can turn on them. Father used to warn me about it, but that won't happen again. I promise.
Poitier narrows her eyes as she studies Liang for a moment.
If you say so, what are you gonna do now?
Liang takes a deep breath.
I'll continue with the investigation. I need to find Qixing.
What? But that angry grandpa already pulled you off the case.
I have to do this.
What for? Because of your duty to fight evil as the master of Xiangliang?
Poitier furrows her brow, but to her surprise, Liang shakes her head.
I've always had two things guiding me. My duty as a member of the Liang family, and the spirit of CO7. And now, Qianliang has ignored my summon, and Qixing has turned out to be anything but a hero. They were once the beacons of my life, but not anymore. This could be a setback, yes. Or it could be an opportunity. For the first time in my life, I can think about what I really want without having to consider anything else.
After a brief moment of surprise, Poitier lets out a laugh.
You know what, Rookie? It always grinds my gears when you talk about your duty and all that stuff. But what you're saying now, I like it.
Aren't you going to stop me?
Why would I? It's our case, isn't it? There's nothing wrong with doing our job. If Eldon bitches about it, just tell him you bumped into the crook when you were strolling around the city.
Seriously?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, is there? So what's the game plan, huh? What are you gonna do?
This scene again? They must have done a dozen takes already, right?
Yeah, I'm no movie expert, but even I can tell the actor's nervous as hell.
Of course he is. Anyone would be nervous if they knew a wanted criminal could show up at any time and mess you up with Arcanum. Eldon tried to keep the details of the case a secret, but that director from Hong Kong told her crew about it as soon as she came back.
The two uniformed figures stand in a narrow alley in Chinatown. They came to protect the potential target of an attack, Noir, but were politely turned away on the grounds of disrupting filming. Now they can only confirm the situation inside the set by peering through the slightly ajar door.
I guess they have the right to know. And to run. Half of the extras got the hell out as fast as they could. And look at the other half. They're too nervous to work.
I know. Hey, that's the Vigil's cadet, isn't it? What's she doing here?
The officers said you're here to help, is that right? Excellent. We could really use a hand right now. Come, let's get you in costume.
Noir greets her guest with her usual amiable smile. Having reached an agreement with Liang to cooperate in an arrest, Noir has not been charged for her illegal trading of the arcane object. After being released from custody this morning, she immediately returned to filming.
I'm more than happy to help. But first, I have something important to ask you.
Noir pauses.
Right to the point this time. I see.
I don't think there's any need to tiptoe around each other anymore. Could you answer me directly this time? What happened between you, Qixing, and He Rijun, the creator of Reunion of the Three Swallows? How did she die? Why do you and Miss Qixing both want that film? And why is she doing this?
Noir looks at Liang, her usual smile fading slightly.
What do you plan to do with my answers?
To Qixing, I'm probably just another fan, but to me, she and her character means something. I need to know why. I have to arrest her and find out the truth. Maybe I can still fix things, but Miss Noah, I need your help if I'm going to do it.
This time, Liang says exactly what she's thinking. She holds her breath as she awaits Noir's response.
You mean you want to know more about her, to peek behind the scenes, learn what really happened behind all the moving magic? I told you it's not a good idea. We create works not just to express ourselves, but to entertain. And when we release them to the public, we open ourselves to all kinds of commentary, whether they be sweet or bitter. But the people behind the characters, behind the production, they are not for entertainment. Their lives are not fiction.
Is that a no?
I haven't finished.
She raises an eyebrow, a hint of mischief growing behind her smile.
Though I don't advocate trying to cross the line between on and off screen, if we cast aside your relationship as fan and actress and treat you simply as individuals, saying, I want to know more about you, sounds rather beautiful. It's touching, really. I'll answer your questions, Miss Liang. Follow me.
All right, on to Before the Spotlight, Chapter 16.
Our story began 11 years ago. Life was tough, as it is for all young artists. But, like the beginning of many stories, there was a kind of beauty in it.
Wang Fu Restaurant. Another new wave director has made a splash with her debut movie. Nitwit boasts an excellent foundation, but may have reached a little too far with its bizarre and unconventional story. While some have praised its daring approach, it has proven too much for the general audience to appreciate, leading to a disappointing box office performance and living up to its title, Nitwit. Oh, what can I say? They've got no taste. She casually tosses the newspaper onto the table, the loud thud drawing surprised glances from the nearby diners. Okay, I guess compromise is inevitable if I want to sell more tickets, but that's not exactly my strong suit. Nora, is that you? What a surprise! It's so good to see you again. She seems nice and cute. Teresa, what are you doing here? When did you come back to Hong Kong? And she wasn't in a wheelchair at this point. Teresa, as you know her by He Ru Jin.
Dear friend of mine, the scriptwriter of Detective C07 and the creator of the cursed film Reunion of the Three Swallows. This is a pretty good script. Interesting. Teresa and I met while we were studying abroad at the Film Academy. We took the same scriptwriting class. We didn't talk much at first. She always sat in the corner on her own. I only got to know her after our teacher showed a script to the class as an example of excellent work.
The writer's name. Teresa.
Her stories could strike a balance between the details and the big picture. They were engaging, light-hearted, and warm. So, in that moment, when we met again at the restaurant, I realized she was the one I'd been looking for. At that time, she was an editor at a small press. I invited her to join my studio, and 3 months later, she put the first edition of Detective C07 on my table.
So, what do you think? Just tell me if you want to change anything. I can. I'm thinking about who should play the heroine. Your script is remarkable, even better than I expected. Let's shoot it.
So we had the script, but we couldn't decide who would play the heroine. We held endless auditions, even considered some famous actresses, but none of them fit. Until that night.
What did you think of today's candidates? The last one seems okay to me. No, she's missing that edge. You can see it too, right? We're not making lemonade from lemons. At least I'm not. But what if she doesn't even exist? What if our perfect actress only lives in our imaginations? Then we'll keep looking until she's born. You, what are you doing? I'm kicking your butt. Got a problem with that, perverts? F off. Just you wait. We'll come back, you'll see. After throwing out a few uninspired threats, the hooligans flee in disgrace. Behind the door, a worried face peeks out. You really shouldn't have done that. Those guys live in the neighborhood. They won't just let you off the hook after this. I know you just wanted to help that girl, but she didn't say anything. Why did you have to make such a scene? What if they come back and tear up the restaurant? You've gotten me into big trouble, Aishing. Don't worry, boss. I'll quit. If they come again, tell them to come find me. Here's my key. Remember to open early. Your regulars don't like to wait. What are you? The restaurant owner resigns to taking the key in silence. Without a backward glance, the girl steps from the door, only to be quickly stopped. Looks like you just lost your job. Yeah, and what's it to you? What do you want? To offer you a new one. Are you interested in acting?
Ah-Sing was surprised when I made the offer. She said she needed to think about it. So Teresa gave her a copy of the script. The next day, she knocked on our door and took the offer. Later, we learned that Ah-Sing was born into a poor family. Her father was in prison and her mother had mental issues. She'd been the breadwinner for the family since she was a kid. Her father's reputation would often get her into trouble. So usually, she was either on the way to a job or to a fight.
As memories surface, Noir lets out a sentimental smile.
The CO7 you saw always had a confident smile on her face. But in actual fact, Ah-Sing almost never smiled at the beginning. An actor should learn to commit to the moment in front of the camera and come back to reality behind it. But Ah-Sing didn't. She didn't come back to reality. She's never once stopped playing the role of CO7 since then. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She started to smile the way CO7 smiled. She went from brash and reckless to sly and methodical. Just like CO7, the deputy chief and the BAU made a mistake. Ah-Sing has not confused herself with her character. After all these years in the movie industry, I've seen a lot of actors get carried away by the glitz and glamour of their characters. But Ah-Sing is different. She values CO7 even more than herself, so much so that, ultimately, it eclipsed her own consciousness.
Oh?
Miss Liang, you asked me which rumors about CO7 and the three of us were true. Now I can give you an answer. Most of them were.
Noir maneuvers her wheelchair to the desk, pulls out a file from the bottom drawer and hands it to Liang. The file is heavy. Liang opens it up to find an aged photograph.
Is this...
3 women posed together. Their identities are obvious.
We drew a lot of attention after the release of CO7. Put a magnifying glass up to anyone, and you'll always find imperfections. We were no exception. Ah-Sing was as stubborn and uncompromising as I was. When we disagreed, it would blow up into a huge argument, neither one of us giving in to the other. Poor Teresa was always caught in the middle. I was too young, too bullheaded, to realize the consequences that this might cause. I tore a path forward, often ignoring the people around me.
Aww.
Teresa, on the other hand, was kind-hearted, perhaps too much so. She never got angry, no matter what people said. She just bottled it up inside and let it eat away at her.
Noir gazes at the smiling faces in the photo, her expression tinged with nostalgia and the faintest hint of sorrow.
She didn't like taking photos. She was self-conscious about her appearance.
Oh, and she's so cute, too.
A few together. This one was taken when we were shooting CO7 too. We were so close back then. Of course, we knew we'd have to part ways eventually, but we didn't concern ourselves with that. Even then, our shortcomings had started to hurt our relationship. But by the time we realized it, the damage had been done.
唔得，呢個結局太離譜啦！
No, this ending makes no sense. C07 would never do that.
When we were making C073, Ah-Sing was up in arms about the ending. In the sequence, C07 tracks a criminal through a Shehua parade, hoping to finish him off herself. But when she finds him sitting at home with his family, she changes her mind. Ah-Sing didn't like it. She said that C07 would punish the villain for what he's done, that she would never change her mind. We had countless arguments over this ending, and of course, we never reached a conclusion.
Ouch. Alright, enough. We're not getting anywhere with this. I have an idea.
So I cheated. Were I in the same position now, I'd solve the problem more delicately. But I was a jerk back then. The only thing that mattered was the movie. I couldn't care less about what people thought, including my heroine. I asked Teresa to write an alternative ending, and told Ah-Sing that we'd shoot both endings and pick the better one together. She agreed.
But you didn't keep your word. You released the movie with the original ending.
It turned out to be very popular, but Ah-Sing saw it as a betrayal. At the premiere, she announced she was quitting the new art company that the three of us had founded together. I didn't stop her. Teresa tried to mend our relationship, like she always did.
我寫咗個新劇本，唔係407續作，係全新嘅故仔啊！如果你哋覺得有意思嘅話
I wrote a new story, not for C07, completely new one. If you're interested, maybe we can use it for our next movie. I made a sizzle reel. It's pretty short. Probably not as good as the ones we usually make, but shall we watch it together?
It was her proof of concept for reunion of the Three Swallows. I knew Teresa had always wanted to put an end to the C07 series and write something she was really passionate about. Perhaps she thought a new story would help Ah-Sing move away from C07 and become herself again. Unfortunately, when she came to show us the script, Ah-Sing and I were in the middle of a fight.
No, I'm not acting in any more of your movies.
Ah-Sing had always been kind to Teresa, but on that day, she pushed her out of the doorway and stormed off. Well, as I said, I was a jerk. I flipped through her script, and a flurry of harsh words left my mouth.
Really? This type of story again? I told you, this isn't your strong suit. The script, along with the reel, is shoved back into Hae-Ryujin's hands without a second glance.
In the end, neither Ah-Sing nor I cared enough to watch Teresa's sizzle reel, even though she tried so hard to present it to us. That was the last time we saw Teresa.
That fire.
Yes, that's why I'd pay any price to get that film. Her script was burned to ashes in the fire. I need to know what story she was trying to tell. I suppose Ah-Sing feels the same.
Nora gestures toward the file.
This is what you wanted to see last time you and your officer friend visited me.
You mean the threatening letter?
It's not a letter, actually.
Liang sets down the photo and pulls out the remaining contents of the file. It's an aged script, its cover yellowed by time. As she flips through, familiar lines of dialogue meet her eyes. In an instant, she understands the significance of what she's holding.
It's the script of Detective 071.
The original. The one Teresa handed to Ah-Sing all those years ago.
Liang never imagined that one day she would be holding the origin of the very film that inspired her as a child. There is no doubt, Qi Xing must have returned it to Noir. But why? What does this mean? She continues to flip through until her fingers meet an object tucked between the pages.
Is this a
poster of the Shehu parade? Oh, right. It's almost time for the Dushu festival. With everything going on these days, I almost forgot.
Liang's expression suddenly shifts.
Is Miss Qixin going to...
Your guess is as good as mine.
They exchange a glance, then both turn their gaze to the image of the Shehu parade printed on the poster in front of them. To be continued. Episode 17. Watchers, Protectors, Defenders.
Wow! Look at all these people! Oh, we should have come earlier. I can hardly see a thing from here.
And whose fault is that? You are the one who took ages to get ready. Anyway, at least we haven't missed much. Looks like it just started. I heard there's a new event this year. I wonder what it is.
Not an event. A film crew's shooting a scene during the parade. Apparently, they already talked to Mr. Shao and said they wouldn't cause any trouble. Let's go check it out. Maybe we can get into one of the shots.
Oh! This is the busiest time of year in Chinatown. The streets are filled to the brim. But for those with keen eyes, some outliers can be spotted among the crowd.
This is C2. All clear.
Copy. Group C.
It's the Arcane Affairs officers. Mook's here.
Stay in position. Wonder how the Vigil Girl and Eldon are doing.
Having ended the transmission, the officer glances toward a Chinese restaurant at the street corner. Despite the bustling crowd, the sign on its door reads closed.
Do I really have to go outside like this?
Deputy Chief Eldon stands awkwardly in front of the mirror as he stares at the brightly colored traditional outfit he's adorned in. The man across from him sneers, shattering his last shred of hope to be saved from it.
No, you need to paint your face too. I'm not gonna let you join the parade looking like a weirdo. You're the one who said that the parade needed guards in case there was an attack. Have you changed your mind? I'd be more than happy to kick you out here. Sorry, but your profiling and a BAU report seemed like a load of crap to me. If someone does attack the parade, I'm sure we can handle it ourselves.
Listen, I won't pretend to understand the meaning behind all this. But what I do understand is that this is one of the most important events of the year for the people of Chinatown. The target could strike at any time, so we need to be prepared. No one wants to see a celebration turn into a nightmare.
Why didn't you say that to your men? They are the ones who've ignored the Chinatown all this time. What a hypocrite.
He glares at the officers with clear distrust in his eyes. But before tensions can rise anymore, the girl beside him cuts in with a smile.
Uncle Zhao, today's our big day. That sour face of yours is gonna scare this guy straight up.
Oh yeah, Anna Lee's here.
They are doing this for the right reasons. What we got to lose?
Leave the past in the past, La. They're doing this for the right reasons. What do we got to lose?
We could really use a hand right now. They can make up for our manpower shortage. Now, give me a big smile, la, before your long face scares off our good fortune.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you. With a sweet talker, aren't you, eh?
He huffs and glares, but eventually waves it off.
Fine. But you've got to look the part if you're gonna be in the parade. I don't care what your mission is. Oh, you, Lonnie! Tighten your belt, or your pants will fall down with your dance. And the big guy over there, the lining should be under your coat.
The famed Chinatown investigator yells corrections to the officers as they do their best to don the traditional attire. His tone is sharp but surprisingly patient. Seeing his old friend much mellowed from before, Eldon removes his garish headpiece and turns to Ann.
Thanks for all your help, Miss Lee. We never would have been able to join the parade unnoticed if you hadn't persuaded the residents to cooperate with us.
You are welcome, lah, sir. Even though I only came here a few months ago, I've already gotten pretty close to the residents. So, it was pretty easy to convince everyone. Don't worry about it, lah. Besides, the Shehuo parade is for everyone, whether they're here to watch or dance. We are always happy to have more people join the celebration. Uncle Zhou might be a little stubborn, but you know, gala, that's just what he's like. Don't take it personally.
She turns her head, gesturing toward a few unfamiliar faces at the other end of the restaurant.
These guys are arcane detectives and influential people around Chinatown. I told them to all keep an eye out too. There's a saying in Hong Kong, as stupid as the god of longevity who hangs himself. That will be Night Piercer if she comes anywhere near Chinatown.
Eldon nods before gently shaking his head with a complex expression.
I know everyone here will be grateful if Night Piercer doesn't show up, but then we'll still have a dangerous criminal with an equally dangerous arcane item on the loose. Nothing's more dangerous than an unexploded bomb. I want to eliminate the threat once and for all. The question is, will she come? Was the little vigil right?
Late last night, Liang knocked on Eldon's office door. She had returned from her morning rejection with renewed determination.
The Shehuo parade, sir.
At that time, the Division of Arcane Affairs was still brightly lit, with most officers racking down their brains to track down Qi Xing without success. That was when Liang had stormed in with her important collaborator, ignoring the puzzled glances from her colleagues, slammed a thick stack of reports onto his desk.
Miss Noah isn't like any of Qixing's previous targets. She's much more important. Miss Qixing still can't accept the way Miss Noah ended Detective CO73. That's her motive. The ending consists of two major elements, the Shehuo parade and the villain who should have been punished. She now sees Noah as that villain, and she's going to attack her at the coming Shehuo parade. That will be our chance to arrest her.
The Shehuo parade? Do you have any idea what you're suggesting?
The sheer thickness of the report is intimidating. Eldon skims through it before casting a questioning glance at the unexpected visitor Liang had dragged in. The visitor nods.
Don't worry, sir. I'd be happy to cooperate. As bait. Asing will come. I promise.
The sound of the back door opening breaks Eldon's thoughts. He looks up to see Poitier pushing Noir's wheelchair aside, Loggerhead following closely behind.
As far as I can remember, she's never been late to anything.
Pete, why aren't you dressed up? I've been looking forward to it all day.
Wow, so many people. I'll make sure I capture some great memories of this.
Noir remains her usual unruffled self, while Poitier teases her colleagues and Loggerhead eagerly looks around. Eldon sighs and rubs his forehead.
I understand that the festival atmosphere is exciting, but you ladies need to remember that we're not here to celebrate. There's a tough fight ahead of us. Poitier, you sure you're healed up?
Of course, Chief. You've approved my participation in this operation. It's too late to take it back now.
Eldon looks her over. Clearly she's alive and well, but he still carries concern on his face. Eventually he sighs and nods.
What about Miss Latham? You've been proven innocent, and I heard the Foundation told you to await orders. There's no reason for you to be here.
Eldon's words draw everyone's attention to Loggerhead. Her head twitches slightly.
Yeah, but it'd be weird to stay in my room alone when everyone's out here. Don't you think? Anyway, I'm waiting for Scott to wake up from her coma. I want to ask her why she stole from the Foundation and pinned it on me. I need to know what she thinks about me and our friendship.
If I let you guys do all the work while I just wait in my room, I won't be able to question her without feeling insecure. I know I might not be all that helpful, but I'll do everything I can.
The camera lens almost seems to flash with something resembling a plea.
Miss Latham's being modest. As a staff member of the Arcanum Containment Department, she knows how to deal with that film reel better than any of us. She may forget things, but she still has a wealth of knowledge. Her experience might just make the difference between failure and success.
All right. You've got a point. Miss Latham, thanks for lending us your expertise.
Eldon finally nods. Luggerhead lights up.
Great! Just leave it to me. I can deal with the film. I've rewatched all my related memories, so I remember every detail, even down to the scratches on its surface.
With Loggerhead officially permitted to join, the final member of the operation team is the last to arrive.
There you are. Everyone was gone when I left the changing room. I thought something was... What's wrong?
Wow, the costume fits you so well. Fancy, whoa. It doesn't even look like a costume. Much fancier than that. You are like the best parade dancer I've ever seen. There's no way the Night Piercer will spot you. Look at her, Uncle Zhao. So cool, huh?
The Chinatown investigator scrutinizes Liang from head to toe before letting out a derisive snort.
Is that the Leon's family ritual dress? Let me see. Good. You're wearing it right. Nice to know that at least some kids remember their traditions. You better not dishonor your family wearing this, kid.
My thoughts exactly. Everything's in place. You sure you can perform this time, Vigil? I don't want a repeat of last time. The alley out back's empty. Show us what you got.
He gestures toward the officers, motioning them to line up before Liang. Each officer stands tall and imposing, forming what looks like a solid wall before Liang. Refusing to shy away, she squares her shoulders and meets their gazes head-on.
Yes, sir. I will prove myself to you.
Show me what you got.
All right, let's see if I'm up against a powerless little girl or a real challenger. Understood, sir. I will go easy on you. I mean, Andrew Nala's gonna rip him one here.
Ready? Let's go some rebel brew. Stay put. This will hurt longer than me. Ha! My crucible really has a mind of its own.
I'm about to do a whopping heap of damage right here. Alright. Set up the Matrix. And then Jiangzi drops her follow-up attack. And now the big nude from Andronala.
Wait for the pop.
Oh, that just took her out. And we didn't even get their ultimates coming out. Alright, stop. Or at least I acknowledge you now. Not bad. Good, looks like she wasn't just all talk. Sorry, I did my best to restrain myself. Phew, if this had kept up.
Life or death battle. Ready? Let's go some rebel brew. Stay put. This will hurt longer than me. Ha! My crucible really has a mind of its own.
After several rounds of trials, Liang remains standing, her expression firm and determined, her gaze burning with resolve. Satisfied, Eldon nods.
Looks like I've got nothing to worry about. You ready, kid?
He rolls up his sleeve and checks the time on his watch.
Parade's starting soon. I'll go get dressed. The rest of you...
I need to talk to Miss Liang. Could you give us a moment?
Don't be late.
Poitier glances at them before following the others back inside. The alley suddenly feels empty. Liang waits for Noir to speak, but she never does. She simply stares at the distant lights as if the revelry and noise belonged to another world. Eventually, Liang can wait no longer.
Why me, Miss Noah?
I mean, you're the one invested in all the C07 stuff, girl. The law of causation. The cheers and laughter of the Shehua parade echo through the alley, muffled and distant.
You could have just told Eldon about what happened between the three of you. You could have shown him the threatening letter. Maybe then he wouldn't have made the order to shoot the target if necessary. Yes, Miss Qixing has committed multiple assaults, but she hasn't killed anyone. I don't think she deserves to die. So, as I promised, I will do my best to catch her alive. That being said, if...
She takes a deep breath.
If drastic measures have to be taken, I will not hesitate.
Liang's final words are nothing but polite. She holds her breath as she awaits Noir's response. After a brief silence, Noir speaks.
Asing was a good actress.
Liang anticipated all kinds of responses from Noir, but not this one.
Yes. She was a skilled martial artist with remarkable control over her arcane skill. But that's not what makes a successful actress. Before we'd even start shooting, she'd have everything memorized. Her lines, her movements, even the details of her expression. She'd take as many shots as were necessary to get the scene right. As you know, I was a perfectionist, always taking it too far. Many of my crew quit halfway through my projects. Even Teresa struggled sometimes. She told me more than once that she couldn't do it anymore. Only Asing could keep up with my pace. In fact, she'd often be a few steps ahead because she shared my vision. That drive for something better, no matter the cost. She was a good actress indeed. I know that we'll probably never be partners again, but I still don't want her to be treated like this.
In Liang's memories, Noir was always smiling. Something friendly, sometimes distant, with the mischievousness of a child or the cunning and unyielding pride of a woman totally in control. But at this moment, when she turns her head, there is no smile. What burns in her eyes is something akin to rage.
You said you were going to figure out the truth. Well, it seems you and I agree that things aren't as simple as they appear. The Arcanum Containment Department security system should be almost unbreakable. So how is it that Miss Scott, a regular staff member with no special skills, managed to break through it? And why was she selected to go after Miss Latham? What was she about to say before that needle pierced her neck? Asing's actions don't make sense either. After all these years, why has she decided to take revenge now? Is it because she found the film? There are simply far too many coincidences. If one of my writers wrote a script like this, they'd be fired on the spot.
You mean there's something else going on behind all this?
Noir gives her a look of approval.
The scene has been staged. I can feel it. The lights, the cameras, the cast, they're all in position. And when the clapperboard claps, the movie will begin. And this time, I'm not sitting behind the camera, but in front of it. Miss Liang, I've been holding back. I apologize for that. I hadn't figured out which role you'd play in this movie.
If you're saying this to try to get me to talk about the behind the scenes of my life, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed.
No, of course not. You got me wrong.
She waves a hand dismissively, her expression light, but her eyes still blazing.
I'm a director. I don't act in movies made by others. I sing Miss Latham, Miss Scott. The camera's focused on them too. But none of us know where the story will go.
Something stirs in Liang's chest.
You mean Miss Qixing's being manipulated? I've considered that possibility, but who's the one behind the camera? What do they want?
All I know is that if Ah Sing continues down this path, there will be no happy ending for her. I understand that she's trying to reach something she's always strived for, but whoever's orchestrating this won't let her get it. I've done that to her before, and it was a huge mistake. I won't let that happen again.
What are you going to do?
Mar smiles.
Since coming to Hollywood, there's one thing I found difficult to accept. The producers always stick to the script. They're obsessed with it. Changes are incredibly rare, but that's not how we do it in Hong Kong. The script's finished, and so what? Things will always come up during shooting. You have to be flexible if you want to make truly great art.
Which is kind of weird for her to say, considering that she said that she was the perfectionist.
If a moment of inspiration were to strike me and I weren't allowed to add it to the movie, then you may as well just kill me there.
Liang takes a moment to understand all of this.
You want to change the script?
Precisely. But we have a small issue.
Noir gestures to her legs resting on the wheelchair.
As you can see, I'm not exactly ready to jump to my feet and into the action. I'm better at working behind the camera than I am in front of it. So, I need a protagonist. One who's as eager as I am to change the script and find that perfect ending. Are you interested?
She reaches a hand out to Liang,
It would be an honor.
and Liang takes it in her own.
Attention please. Noir will be shooting a movie during the Showdown parade as planned. Let's go over the plan one more time. Group A will hide among the cast. Group B, cameramen. And Group C are in the crowd. Once Xixing appears, close in and arrest her as soon as possible. Got it? They're all set too. Good. Everyone, take your positions.
Here we're getting the parade. Maybe we'll get a big reveal. There's Liang Yue.
All right, Noir. The time has come. This will be our final scene.
It's got some truffle brew. Is that a berry in the liquor? I never knew. Most of the time, anyway. Give them a warm welcome.
Whew. Adrenaline rips. I can feel it. The source of these malevolent spirits is nearby. Wait, is that Chi-Ching?
That's what it's all about. Life or death battle and victory.
The lights on either side of the street blur, polluting the night sky, turning it into a swirling mess. It's as if everything in sight has been tossed onto a painter's palette and smeared and blended. All definitions have been lost.
Is this part of the parade? How'd they do that?
Wait! What's this?
Stand back.
A young officer rushes forward, positioning herself between the unknown monster and the Chinatown residents.
Easy.
Thank you. They teach you that in Hong Kong?
That thing's nothing like the critter you're used to dealing with. What were you thinking rushing like that? You're totally out of your league.
I was about to attack. What else was I supposed to do?
He swallows whatever snarky remark he had planned, instead looking around at the eerie figures shifting in the shadows.
They look like ghosts, but there's something different about them. So, little ghost hunter, can that machine of yours tell us what they are?
1 second, Uncle Zhao. Lily's working on it.
Under the bewildered gaze of the officers, the ghost hunter's human-headed Lily lets out a chilling, eerie laugh. Anand's expression changes.
What? You mean that was a living man's soul?
Maybe the soul's been pulled out?
I've got confirmation that this thing's covering the whole of Chinatown. Comms are down, and we can't seem to reach either.
Arcane humanoids spotted in all directions. Don't seem to be critters of the beyond. Must be some kind of arcane creation. They're everywhere and immune to regular bullets. Arcane skills and specialized bullets break them apart for a while, but then their bodies just morph back together. No casualties so far, but people are panicking. What do we do, Chief?
Sorry, not my type.
The specialized bullets successfully repel the shadowy beings, but their supply is limited. Odin has to fall back, yelling into his chameleon comm as he does so.
Everyone keep calm. Groups A and C, protecting the public is your top priority. These things seem to follow anything that moves. Lure them away. Miss Lee, Mr. Joe, gather as many civilians as you can and guide them to a safe place.
He expected the private investigator to fire back with his usual sarcasm, but to his surprise, his response is immediate and to the point.
No problem. They know us. I'm sure we'll be able to calm them down. I'll tell them they are special effects. They all know that a movie was being shot here. That should help. At least long enough to get them to safety. That means you guys are gonna have to figure this out yourselves. Show me what you've got, Arcane Affairs.
We won't let you down.
He takes another breath, filling his body with renewed strength.
Group B, hold your positions. Target's probably trying to distract us with these monsters. What's your status? Report immediately.
This is 48. Same thing's happening at the rear of the parade. To our side, though.
Keep it that way. The rest of you keep your eyes peeled. The target could appear at any time. Camerahead, any idea what's going on?
The Arcanum Containment Department employee is the person most likely to understand the current anomaly.
I think Chinatown's been sealed inside an arcane barrier created by the film. There's nothing in the records about this, but these arcane fluctuations are definitely from the film.
What about those ghost things? I don't remember the file saying it could spawn spirits out of thin air.
Well, I don't know. Reunion of the Three Swallows can play and record, that's for sure. But even if its power has been enhanced somehow, it probably wouldn't develop a completely unrelated ability.
You are right. because it's not unrelated.
Anand's voice crackles through the communicator. Even the usually carefree ghost hunter sounds a little tense.
Remember the film's victims? Part of them was taken away by its recall ability. What they lost was part of their spiritual energy and memories. They are Sawan Tepa, or free souls and seven spirits. These monsters are actually the Sawan Tepa of the victims.
They're the victim's spiritual energy? But how did the film do that?
The chilling appearance of the phantoms makes it difficult to connect them with what Anand has declared them to be.
I'm not sure, but Lily's never wrong. So, let's not try to eliminate these things, or the victims will never get their Sawan Tepa back.
Anand's voice, transmitted through the DA communicator, reaches Liang's ears.
Essentially, she's holding everyone in Chinatown hostage. We certainly weren't expecting that.
Liang looks at the figure standing just a few meters ahead. The frightened crowd clings to their family and friends, frantic and scared. And those who are alone gather with others near the dim glow of the shop fronts in search of any semblance of warmth and reassurance. They have no way of knowing that the one responsible for all this is standing just a few steps away.
I didn't want it to come to this. This was between me and Noir. But you just couldn't leave it alone, could you? So here we are. Sounds like you already know what this film reel is capable of. Good. Saves me the trouble of explaining it. Now, bring me Noir.
False dilemma.
Target spotted. I repeat, target spotted.
Within moments of the plainclothes officer's words, the arriving police evacuate the crowd and seal off the street. The officers form an impenetrable barrier, trapping both the target and Liang inside. They stand in a face-off. The bystanders erupt into a fervent speculation. Deputy Chief Eldon steps into the containment zone.
Impressive, Night Piercer. This is a whole new level, even for you. Tell me, what did you pull to take control of that film reel?
I didn't pull anything, officer. It chose to fulfill my wish. That's all.
Without warning, an excruciatingly sharp noise tears through her skull, sending waves of vertigo crashing over her. For several agonizing seconds, she can hear nothing but the distant groans of the officers and bystanders suffering alongside her. It's a fight just to stay upright. When the assault on her senses finally subsides, the first thing she registers is a voice coming from her communicator.
Something bad's happening.
The urgency in the officer's voice sets Liang's nerves on edge, but then her tone shifts.
Maybe it's good. Those things. They stopped moving. They're not attacking anymore.
You kidding?
Liang and Eldon exchange a puzzled glance before scanning their surroundings. The shifting shadows have indeed stopped moving, and the reason is obvious. Their wary gazes turn toward their target. She's standing calmly in the middle of the street, unfazed by the ray of loaded firearms aimed directly at her.
I never wanted to get innocent people involved. As I said before, this is between me and Noir. Now, may I see my dear old friend? If you're worried about her safety, the little vigil can tag along.
Liang and Eldon exchange a look.
It's too dangerous. We've already put Noir at considerable risk. But pushing her right to the hands of a criminal, I don't think so. We can't put a civilian in danger like that. Besides, why would Xing let you go with her? You're walking right into a trap.
Trap or not, I'm afraid we don't have much choice.
Her voice isn't loud, but in this high-tension standoff, its slow and measured cadence feels completely out of place. Poitier pushes Nora's wheelchair forward, placing her squarely in the spotlight.
Poitier, what are you doing? I told you to hold position.
Noir raises a hand, smiling as she cuts off Eldon's rising fury.
Please don't blame Officer Poitier, sir. I forced her to bring me here.
What? What the hell are you thinking?
It's time I put an end to all of this. No need to worry, officer. Our reliable vigil will keep me safe, isn't that right?
Yes, of course. I will ensure Miss Noah's safety, Chief. Leave it to me.
Eldon studies Liang's face for a moment before shifting his gaze to Qixing. At last, he relents.
Target in check, Liang.
Keeping his eyes on the target, he leans in close to Liang's ear and issues a low warning.
James and the others are working on how to break this barrier we're in. Camerahead and that ghost hunter are helping them. Stay calm. We want to resolve this peacefully if possible. Haven't forgotten what you learned in negotiation class, have you?
Of course not, sir. I got straight A's.
Poitier takes Liang's other side and rests a firm hand on her shoulder.
Guard up, rookie, and straighten your back. I get why you want to wear this outfit, but you can get things done with or without it. Isn't that right, partner?
Right, ma'am. I won't fail.
Before pulling away, Poitier gives Liang her usual rough pat on the back, but somehow it causes Liang's stiffness to melt away. Taking a steadying breath, she moves to Noir's side.
Let's go, Director. Time for the final scene.
Accompanied by Liang, Noir wheels into the distorted world before them. It's as if a surreal nightmare is unfolding before their eyes.
Look around you, Noir. Look at what we've done.
Qixing's gaze wanders over the bleeding lights and flickering shadows around her as she scrutinizes the cracks and distortions in this twisted realm unleashed by the cursed film reel. But her expression holds no trace of admiration.
This is what her film, the very last work of our dearest friend, looks like now. Tainted, twisted, and wicked. All this is proof of our guilt. The blood on our hands.
So, what are you going to do about it? Teresa's never coming back. She's dead.
Noir doesn't shy away from the word. Though a note of sorrow lingers in her tone, she says it with a certain cold detachment.
And you, playing hero, punishing those you deem evil. Does that make you feel better? You kill me and then what? Kill yourself? That's how you'll atone for your failures? Forgive my bluntness, but how laughably naive you are.
Noir's voice has an uncharacteristic sharpness to it, but Qixing shows no sign of unwavering under her scrutiny. Instead, she smiles.
For my failures? You're way off. You're right about one thing, though. She is gone. The person who cared for me more than anyone in the world. Dead. When she gave me a shoulder to lean on, I pushed her away. I left her to die alone and in pain. How could I ever atone for that? How could I ever expect her to forgive me? How selfish of me to even ask for that.
Liang furrows her brow in suspicion.
Then why can't you let it go? CO7 is the hero who brings the happy ending, no matter what she's faced with. What you are doing now is anything but that.
The hero who brings a happy ending, no matter what she's faced with. That's what I said in the behind-the-scenes interview of CO7 too. I'm surprised you even remember that.
After a brief pause, she smiles again.
But there'll be no happy ending for me. You probably heard that. After she died, I starred in a few movies with other directors, but they all went south. Not because they weren't commercially successful or popular, but because I couldn't shake that feeling of disgust. I'd never felt that playing CO7. The cameras, the boom mics, the spotlights. The sight of them made me want to throw up, scream, do anything to run away from it all. Eventually, I retired from acting. But that sense of disgust never left me. It haunted me wherever I went, whatever I did. I kept asking myself, why is this happening to me? Why can't I just act? Why? Day and night, I wrestled with these questions. Until one day, I found the answer.
Her gaze burns with intensity, and yet it carries a bone-chilling coldness. It is fixed firmly on Noir.
It all began with a dire mistake. One that needs to be corrected.
Silver needles streak through the air in a downpour.
Miss Noah, get back!
Fatutu. Little Page. And Lucy.
I wasn't wrong about you after all. All our countless choices have led up to this moment. But not all of those choices were made willingly. No. Some of us had no choice but to fight over scraps in the dark corners of society. This time, though, it is my choice. My own will. And I'm fortunate to have you playing opposite me. I can see it in your eyes. You're not playing the role of a hero or an officer. You're yourself and nothing less.
What about you?
The answer to that is yours to find out, little visual.
Filter complete. Move carefully.
Special. Ally enemies periodically launch powerful attacks on targets holding focus. Use still frame strategically to evade the attack.
Please lend me your power.
Just another shift. Oh look, here's an
Awaken.
You won't get away.
Nice follow-up.
Under attack. A word of warning. Don't leave your friends stranded. Their lives are in your hands.
Alright, stick some more of those on. Single target. And then more follow-up from...
Oh, be careful.
Barrage.
My responsibility. This isn't over yet.
Oh, another addition to my collection. Soon, you'll all be tucked away in my film reel.
Alright, I will upgrade that. Use these ults. And that gets upgraded again, wow.
Higher than the bell tower, and deep in the clouds. We'll find our home one day.
The light that illuminates all.
Does that rescue Yang Yue? Yeah. Alright, not that it mattered.
I've been waiting for this. Get the camera rolling, Noir. At last I'll get the ending I always wanted.
Huh. Looks like there's no stopping you. In that case...
Oh, be careful.
Just a little bit short of upgrading this. I don't need healing yet for that. I want to get Jiang Yue upgraded. So you can do your attack. Might as well do this. Jiang Yue attack. Or I can do another debuff and get more stacks. No, I'll just do this and I'll upgrade that next time.
You are not welcome here.
Aim and shoot.
Oh, maybe I didn't even need it. Or maybe she goes on to...
Enough of this, Xixi. Stop this feudal resistance and face reality. No matter how hard you try, you can't change the past.
No, Little Vigil. This isn't my curtain call. Not yet.
Watch out, Liang!
And now to return to my long-term mission. Rest.
Ammo's running low, sir. They must be gaining power from this area we're in.
I hate you, Noir. You were born with a silver spoon and exceptional talent. You took everything for granted. You looked down on everyone else. I've always hated you.
Miss Noah, hold on!
That was close.
Miss Xixi, is this really what you want to do? Are you really going to kill Miss Noah? You have to stop! This is completely meaningless!
Meaningless? No. This is exactly what needs to happen. Every story must have an ending after all. The past has held me prisoner for far too long. I need an ending, a conclusion, so I can finally leave it behind me. Only then can I reach my perfect grand finale. Xiangyang, impossible. You didn't chant the incantation.
This time, I won't hesitate. You're my inspiration, Miss Xixi. Like the countless kids who were once lost. I found myself in CO7, and that's exactly why I have to stop you. 强梁既出，王有不为，斩杀终究，小节不详。
Arise, Qingliang. A brilliant flash splits the darkened sky in two, and a thunderous roar scatters the shadows. All fear and unease are forgotten in an instant. Every head turns to the place where the lightning struck to see a colossal beast standing in solemn majesty. The crowd falls silent. Then a single young voice cries out. The child raises a lantern excitedly. Some of these kids are Brits. The paper-crafted beast bears little resemblance to the mighty guardian towering in the distance. Yet something in its stern, round-eyed face carries something of its righteous spirit. As the crowd shifts their gaze between the small paper lanterns and the guardian, their voices finally return.
You're right. It's the legendary Showdown beast. Look, it has the tail of a snake and the head of a tiger, just like the illustrations.
Has the legendary Qiangliang come to save us? Does that mean Kangaroo is this Zhengzi?
What are you two yapping about? 显道 beast? 正直? Those are just fairy tales. Didn't Mr. Zhou say this was all part of a film shoot?
She still believes it.
That's right. I told you this was all for a movie. Why don't you guys believe me?
Oh, come on. You're always full of hot air. That said, there's no way this is real. It must just be some fancy special effects. I'll believe you this once.
Wait, so all those things were fake? I almost freaked out when those ghosts came out. Costumes and makeup were so real looking. Man, am I glad I came to Chinatown. This parade's been insane. I gotta take more photos.
The fear that once filled their hearts gradually fades. Those who understand the truth exchange knowing smiles.
Wow, that's Changliang, huh? Looks totally awesome. I heard that a descendant of the 12th Zhengzi joined the Features Bureau, but this is the first time I've ever seen Changliang in action.
Oh, looks like they got that actor lady under control. Now all we need to do is grab that cursed film reel and break the barrier, and the victims will be sane again. It'll be happily ever after for everyone.
Before she can finish speaking, her optimistic prediction is ruthlessly overturned.
What boy? This again?
What's going on? Didn't they finish the job?
It's time for the real boss to step up. An anomaly even greater than the last crashes down upon them. Startled cries rise from the crowd.
Something's wrong with it.
Something is very wrong indeed. What was assumed to be a mere optical distortion is now starting to seep into tangible reality. It is undeniably interfering with the physical world.
Is that archway melting? It kinda looks like a burning piece of film.
They look at each other, finding the same alarm in each other's faces.
The barrier was created by that spooky film reel, right? Then this means is
it's falling apart. We need to get out of here.
Get everyone away from the edges of the barrier. The further they are from those twisting buildings, the better.
Understood. But what the hell is going on? I thought you had the target locked down.
We do, but clearly this isn't over yet. Miss Latham, anything you can do?
Yes, sir, but I'll need a few of your men. I can use the containment incantation they taught me at work. But I don't think it'll hold for long.
Just do your best. In the meantime, we'll eliminate the problem at the source.
Eldon's furious gaze lands on Qixing.
All you're doing with the reel, stop it now! Or I'll make you stop it!
I'm not doing anything.
She stands, her hat a few feet away, her body slumped against the wall behind her as she barely manages to stand upright. She forces a crooked grin.
It's the film reel. It's reached its limit.
From her coat, she pulls out the object responsible for all this chaos. Had Liang not once held the film reel herself, she might not have recognized it at all.
The reunion of the three swallows. What's happening to it? Wait, there's something else here.
No doubt about it. Evil spirits. An insane number of them.
Anna shoves her way through the crowd, rushing to Qi-Ching's side. With just one glance at the film reel, her face goes pale. Upon hearing Anan's words, Liang's expression darkens.
So you think so too? We had a similar encounter at the city hall not long ago. Mr. Wang must have lost some of his spiritual energy to the film reel, leaving his body open to wandering evil spirits since then. I've suspected that.
The uneasy speculation lodges in her throat, but Anan voices it for her.
Of course. I should have realized earlier.
The ghost hunter lets out a long, frustrated sigh, then furrows her brows in thought, her expression growing increasingly grim.
Obviously, evil spirits would be attracted to the film reel. It's like leaving a pot of honey in front of a wasp's nest. A living soul is a wandering spirit's favorite meal. So with the number of souls scattered in the film reel, it's like a total feast. All that evil spiritual energy must have the film reel bursting at the seams.
Anan scans her surroundings, alarm in her eyes. The collapse is approaching fast. It's as if reality itself is about to be swallowed whole. Yet neither Liang nor Anan can see a single wandering evil spirit. A sudden realization strikes Liang. Her gaze snaps to Qi-Ching. But upon seeing her, her eyes widen in shock.
Miss Shishi, your hand.
I must admit.
Deep, jagged cracks have spread across the entire film reel and climbed up Qi-Ching's hands and arm like sinister veins.
The film reel isn't the only thing at its limit. I can't hold on much longer.
The vessel containing Qiang Liang, strapped around Liang's waist, starts to shudder. To Qiang Liang, the malevolent energy emanating from Qi-Ching must be eradicated.
What does that mean?
A thought flashes through Liang's mind.
Could it be that the film reel has been out of control since the beginning?
That depends on how you define the beginning.
Even though Qi-Ching avoids answering, Liang knows she's right. Hi there, Tailsplash. We're a good distance into this story, and it's getting wild. Have you been following? Do you need a recap? Scattered pieces of the puzzle find their place, and finally the picture begins to form a whole.
Since the moment Miss Latham played the cursed film, people have started to suffer from mental disorders. But if you think about it, the sequence of events doesn't make sense. There were only 5 victims of
Also, is everything working fine on the stream? Is my new setup going well?
The number of victims was growing rapidly. That was until you got involved, Miss Qixi. Ever since you took possession of the film reel, only a small number of specific people have been targeted. We thought you were exploiting the reel's power to carry out your vigilantism, but in truth, you were trying to control the reel by limiting its victims to those you deemed as villains.
Though disbelief still colors her voice, her words are not a question. Eldon and the others stare, caught between shock and suspicion, as they turn toward the woman they assumed was the true culprit.
Is that true?
You flatter me, little Vigil. I simply didn't want her legacy to become a tool of evil. That was never her intention.
So that's why you did all this? You wanted us all at the parade parade because you were losing control of the real? But isn't your goal to kill Miss Noah? Was that also a setup? If the film reel wasn't part of your plan, then what was?
A conclusion she herself once stated resurfaces in her mind, and she realizes she made a critical error.
Miss Xixing still can't accept the way Miss Noah ended Detective 073. That's her motive. The ending consists of two major elements: the Shehe parade and the villain who should have been punished.
But she's the villain herself here, I
She
think.
now sees Noah as that villain. Noah isn't the villain, is she? In your perfect grand finale, the villain you intend to kill at the parade is none other than yourself.
It's a good ending for everyone. The big bad finally gets her comeuppance, and who better fits the role than me?
This is the grand finale you want to have? But why does it have to end like this?
Because this is the way it has to be. When a drop of ink falls onto paper, no matter how hard you wipe, it can never be spotless again. People say that every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. What garbage. Some mistakes can never be forgiven.
What happened to He Rijun was an accident. You shouldn't blame yourself for her death. It wasn't your fault.
But it was my fault. It was my stubbornness, my selfishness, that pushed my dear friend, who really, truly cared for me, toward the cliff. How can someone like me carry the title of CO7? I don't deserve to stand in the spotlight ever again. Punishing those equally despicable pieces of scum made me feel better for a while, but it didn't last. That sickening feeling inside, that disgust in myself, it wouldn't stop. I looked everywhere for a way to heal it, but then I realized that the biggest piece of scum was me.
Qi looks up at the sky and lets out a long breath. For the first time, her expression softens, as if she had finally released a burden, and within her eyes, something new flickers. Oh.
The answer was so simple. I can hardly believe it took me so long to see it. And now, it's time to put an end to this nauseating nightmare.
Liang cannot understand it.
No, you're being too harsh on yourself. He Rijun doesn't blame you. I'm certain of it.
Quit it, Vigil. Look around you. Can you still claim that I'm not to blame?
Well, I can. And let me tell you, Teresa was much stronger than you say she was.
Liang turns to see Poitier helping Nora back into her wheelchair.
Yes, Teresa would cry often, but that made her no less determined of an artist. You know that's what she was like. Do you seriously think she gave up dreams, her life, just because of a few harsh words? No, I could never have a coward like that as a partner.
Nora's face is twisted in a fury Liang has never seen before. It sets a fire in the woman beneath her glare, making her frown and turn.
Whatever you say. Director or not, you can't tell me what to do anymore. I will have this ending. Come on, officers. Finish the job. I'd do it myself if I had the strength.
Aww. Her voice is unwavering.
I've learned a lot these past years. If you want to save this city, you'll have to kill me. Those spirits will disappear, and everything will be back to normal. A perfect grand finale, isn't it? So what are you waiting for?
Is this the actual ending to C02, where they find the criminal and they don't kill her, the one that she hated.
So it's come to this, has it?
Eldon swears under his breath as he reaches for the gun at his waist. Qi Ching watches on, seemingly pleased.
Wait, sir.
Lightning shoots through Liang's body. Her feet, once nailed to the ground, suddenly feel weightless. She steps forward.
There's no guarantee that things will play out like Miss Qixing said. Please, let me try something. After all, exorcism is my and Qiangliang's specialty. Wait, what are you?
Before either Eldon or Qi Ching can react, the film reel is already in Liang's grasp.
You out of your mind or something?
Yes, there are a huge number of evil entities bound within it. And this is probably the most formidable opponent Qiangliang and I have ever faced. But I must confront this challenge, not to protect the honor of my family, or to mimic CO7 either. But because I want to. Because it's right, every story has an ending. And I must act to create the best one for everyone. Sorry, I don't have any flower words or clever arguments. But if you're willing to help me, please, Qiangliang, heed my call. This isn't good. Is this the best I get? Qiangliang?
On the Emperor's order, Fang Xiangxi of the Wise sought the assistance of the 12 gods of Sheti. Bestowed with their divine might, Fang Xiangxi bound the creatures and turned their monstrous power to the service of the people. However, even formidable creatures such as these couldn't defend against all the evil spirits across the continent. But the people never gave up, for they knew that as long as they kept fighting, a Xiandao beast would one day come to their aid, expelling the fiends and restoring peace and prosperity. Did he take the film reel with him? Ah. Chapter 22, Rescreen. '21. The storm clouds gradually disperse, and as sunlight streams into the ward. In the corner, television broadcasts a news report.
Last night, the Chinatown Shuhu Parade drew hundreds, as tourists and locals gathered for the Eastern spectacle. These photos, shared by an enthusiastic tourist, show the enormous holographic images that were created on site using arcane skills to present a stunning performance of the Chinese folktale Zhangyang's Exorcism. The event has been deemed a well-organized success, with many promising to attend again next year. Locals have expressed their thanks. One spokesperson said, "It's been wonderful to share our culture with people from all around the world. Chinatown is always ready to welcome new friends from both near and far." In other news, the arcane vigilante Night Piercer, who has perpetrated dozens of attacks across the city, has been apprehended by the DAA. Night Piercer was revealed to be Qi Xing, a former Hong Kong Some members of the public have expressed continued support for the vigilante due to the questionable backgrounds of her victims. Deputy Chief Eldon of the Division of Arcane Affairs gave his response.
Vigilante justice is incredibly dangerous to our society. No individual has the right to bypass the law and enact their judgment on others. Taking the law into your own hands will only lead to chaos, violence, and potential harm to innocent people. We urge the citizens of Los Angeles to place their trust in us as we continue to dedicate ourselves to maintaining a safer society for everyone. If you share our passion for justice, we encourage all citizens to direct their assistance and feedback to the Division of Arcane Affairs.
The LAPD has just announced a plan to add a number of positions for Arcane Affairs officers in the coming year to address the DAA's staffing shortage. The St. Pavlov Foundation's Vigils Bureau training program is also set to begin in the coming months. To apply, please dial...
Hearing this news, the woman hops up joyfully and turns to the man sitting up in bed.
Hasn't it always been your dream to don the uniform? Looks like they accept all the applicants too. Why don't you give it a shot when you are better?
Knock it off. I've been a green crosser for 20 years. There's no way I could be a cop. Right?
He waves off his wife, but as he does so, he turns to the man beside him with a nervous look on his face, expecting to get the idea to shot down. But the reaction he gets is unexpected.
What are you staring at me for? If you want to do it, just do it. I'm sure the neighborhood will be glad to see you wearing the badge. Besides, I spent some time with the officers at the parade. I'm sure that you will be just as capable as them. You're gonna have to toughen up a little, though.
Liang, who has been watching the exchange, smiles.
Mr. Wan, you're strong, healthy, and have a natural talent for arcane skills. With a little training, I'm sure you'll become an outstanding officer. There's a lot that goes into being an officer, but I believe what matters most is the heart to pursue justice and the courage to protect others.
Aww.
The doctor said you can be discharged soon. You should seriously consider applying for the position.
Well, in that case, I'll think about it.
Thank you so much, young lady. I heard you were the one who got rid of the crews and saved everyone. You are our hero.
She clasps Liang's hand tightly in a warm grip. This time, her hand is steady. Liang returns the handshake.
You're too kind, madam. I was only doing my job, and I didn't do it alone. It was a combined effort.
Well, that's that. No more cursed film crazies. Almost all the victims have recovered. Most of them have already been discharged too. Just a few poor saps who got hit hard are still around. But they should be out of here before long. Same goes for the victims in the parade. They've all regained their what's it called again?
Anna gives her a hopeless sigh.
It's 317拍嘅咩啖 Just call it spiritual energy or something like that.
Someone tapak, madam.
I heard that those crews who were taught by a thing or two by Qixing has also recovered. Well, mentally lah. They are pretty physically messed up, so they will have to stay here for a while, I think.
So many victims and not a single death. That's a blessing.
Qixing pulled her punches, apparently. I guess deep down she wasn't the deliverer of justice she claimed she was. Well, no use wondering about it. Years on this job will quickly show you that the madness in Arcanus blood always comes out in Arcanus criminals. Trying to understand them is a waste of time.
That may be the case, but I think that if we look at each other as individuals, we can come to understand one another eventually.
She takes out the brick-sized mobile phone she has carried with her since she was 6 years old. But now its screen remains dark. No matter how much Liang tries to summon the spirit residing within, there is no response.
If we'll try our best.
Holding on to hope, Liang tries a few button combinations on the phone. Usually the screen would light up, but this time there is nothing.
Still nothing from Xiang Liang?
Liang lowers her gaze and shakes her head.
Well, what did you expect? That huge, spooky spookters was a nasty opponent on its own. Not to mention all the ghosts that were attracted by that film reel. It was creepy lah. All those ghosts in one place. It was more crowded than the Dai Pai Dong. I mean, the Chinatown food store on a Saturday night. Of course, those specters drowned the someone part of innocent people. If that hadn't happened, then Qiang Liang wouldn't have had to say.
Anna cuts herself off. It would be too cruel to say these words in front of Liang.
Qiang Liang was lost because of my incompetence. I don't know how I'll be able to face my family now. And there's something else that's bothering me. When Qiang Liang pulled in the evil spirits, I thought I was going to die with it. But it looked at me and pushed me aside. It bore everything, all alone. Why did it go to such lengths to help me? Because I'm its Junzi.
The way it looked at me.
Looked at me. I think it wanted to tell me something. But I didn't understand what. Qiang Liang had been by my side since I was 6. But I always saw it as a heavy burden or a double-edged sword. I never saw it as an independent individual or as a friend. I never tried to truly understand it, and now I've probably lost the opportunity to ever understand it.
Liang sighs and falls silent. The other two exchange a glance and simultaneously pat her on the shoulders.
Come on, enough with the long face. Maybe Qiang Liang will respond to you one day lah. You never know. And I'm here if you ever need my professional ghost-busting service. Exclusive discount just for you,
Agreed. Isn't it a literal legendary beast that's existed for ages? No way it bit the dust just like that. I bet it's recharging in its lair or something. Then it'll come back when it's full of juice again.
I hope so.
She knows these are just comforting words, but their concern for her gives her the strength to move forward nonetheless.
Portier! There you are! And the ghost-busting girl in Liang! Great!
A familiar figure waves from the end of the hallway as she hurries over. Noticing Liang's slightly surprised expression, she slows her steps.
Oh, sorry. I mean, Officer Liang. But if you don't mind.
Of course I don't. Just call me Liang.
Despite her swift response, Liang still feels a bit surprised when she sees the officer extend her hand toward her.
Where are my manners? Name's Jenny Carter. Just Jenny's fine. Unlike your instructor, I don't try to hide my appreciation of people. I gotta say, you've done an awesome job. Folks at the department have all been talking about it. We're proud of you. Please tell me there's some way to postpone the end of your field training.
This is the second hand Liang has shaken today.
Thank you. That's very kind. What brings you here?
Deputy Chief Eldon, of course. Who else? Foundation staff have arrived. They're gonna take over Qi Xing's interrogation and everything. They're gonna take the film reel back to their headquarters, too. But your request has been approved. We can watch Reunion of the Three Swallows before they take it away.
Maybe it's been repaired now?
For crying out loud, the DA isn't a movie theater. Where'd all these people come from?
Eldon scans the group before him.
My apologies, sir. I invited them. This may be the only chance for Teresa's last work to be shown to the public. I want as many people to see it as possible. Every filmmaker wants their work to be shown to the world.
I appreciate your understanding. Before Eldon can respond, Anna cuts in.
Come on, sir. It's no big deal. Everyone here knows what really happened. We just want to know what the film's about.
Yeah, didn't you see something on TV about assistance and feedback? You'd be going back on your word if you ignored us now.
Hey, don't you go talking circles around me again.
Even in this harmonious scene, the two men can't help but bicker. Poitier rolls her eyes. Luckily, the two are quickly interrupted by a woman in a Foundation uniform.
No need to worry, Deputy Chief Eldon. After thorough examination, we've determined that the film reel no longer possesses the ability to twist reality. It was our negligence that allowed the film to be taken in the first place. So, as Mr. Joe said, the people deserve to know the truth. Besides, every viewer is required to sign this confidentiality agreement before entering the screening room. Alright everyone, please hurry. The movie starts in 15 minutes.
Oh, I'm pumped! No way I'm missing this! Give me a pen!
Annan heads over to the desk, and the DA officers in Chinatown, private detectives, follow suit. Liang and Noir, on the other hand, hang back. They already signed the confidentiality agreement. After all, they are the ones who drafted it.
You have my thanks, Vigil. If it weren't for you, I doubt Ah-Sing and I would have had this chance to watch our good friend's swan song. I also have to thank you for helping me stop Ah-Sing and for helping me keep my promise.
Your promise?
Noir pats her hands on her thighs.
Yes, I swore on these two legs. In the past, all I cared about was making the best film. I saw everyone, even my actors and writers, as tools to reach that goal. But I was wrong. There's no such thing as a best film, only a better film. And to make a better film, I need a team around me. What matters most is the people who make the film, not the film itself.
Need balance. She turns her head and looks toward the bolted door at the other end of the room.
But as long as we're living, there's still a future. Maybe I should hire a good lawyer for Ah-Sing. They can probably secure a shorter sentence when she's free again, both physically and mentally. Perhaps we can make a movie together, just like old times.
Liang is momentarily stunned.
Are you sure? With all due respect, Miss Noah, that will probably be a very long time from now.
So, even if we're old ladies by then, as long as we can still move, I'm certain we can make movies. Speaking of which, you'd make an excellent addition to my crew, Miss Liang. Don't hesitate to contact me if you reconsider your career choice.
You're very generous, Miss Noah. But I think I'll stick to being a fan for the time being. I look forward to seeing what you do next.
You won't be disappointed. By the way, have you seen Miss Latham lately? I tried to invite her, but she didn't pick up the phone. She must have left it in her room again.
Actually, I ran into her at the hospital earlier. Miss Scott just regained consciousness. She wanted to visit her.
Noir's smile fades slightly, and a contemplative expression comes over her.
Miss Scott, something tells me that there's still an unsolved mystery there.
You mean a truth hidden behind all these incidents?
Yes, like a chessboard, where the pawns placed on the front line. Somehow, we've managed to fight our way out, escaping our planned doom. But who is the player who placed us there? They are still a mystery, watching us from the shadows. I don't like this feeling.
I'll keep an eye on the matter. I already made a detailed report to my superiors. If there's anything else going on, I'm sure the vigils will put a stop to it.
I suppose we'll have to wait and see.
Noir's expression does not ease. It seems the title of Vigilsboro doesn't bring her much confidence. Before Liang can inquire further, Poitier calls her.
Hey, you two! Get your asses in the screening room! We're all waiting for you!
On our way!
Nothing's more important than a movie that's about to start. Let's go, Vigil.
They exchange a smile and enter the makeshift theater together. Constance Scott, Deputy Chief Eldon, Investigator Joe, Assistant Wang Lang, Cameo, Haley Eugene, Matilda Bonitz, Anan Lee. Sponsor of Miss New Babel's Critter Rehabilitation Center. Medical Support Laplace Rehabilitation Center Cooperative Hospital. Anonymous visitor. Last one. Maybe somebody with the Manus Vindictae? Forget Me Not or Miss Grace?
Scott's ward. Scott's ward. Did I take a wrong turn? Oh, excuse me, Doctor. Could you tell me where Constance Scott's ward is? I'm kinda lost.
You're in the wrong area. You need to go straight forward this way, take a left at a corner, and a right at the next.
Forward, left, then right. Okay. I'll remember it now. Thanks for the help.
Sure.
Laggerhead makes her way down the hallway, muttering the directions to herself as she goes. But then she stops and turns back in confusion.
That's odd. Why do I feel like I talked to that doctor a few days? Must just be my bad memory. The lady last time was more friendly.
She tilts her head quickly, deciding to let it go.
Wait, which way did she say again?
Sorry, Doctor. It isn't time for the routine checkup yet.
You're right. But yesterday's medical report showed some concerning fluctuations in the patient's data. It's probably nothing serious, but we should conduct a clinical check on the patient, just in case.
Please wait a moment. Let me verify this with your superior.
Of course, officer. You can never be too cautious, especially when the patient's involved in a sensitive case.
Yeah. Thanks for your...
The patient inside the ward hears the conversation outside the door come to an abrupt halt. She sits with her hands cuffed to the railing, turning her head away from the window toward the closed door before her.
What's wrong?
There is no response from the other side. Several seconds later, the doorknob turns. Standing in the doorway is a doctor. She looks vaguely familiar.
Miss Scott. How are you feeling today?
Before the doors closed, Scott catches a glimpse of the Arcane Affairs officer staring straight ahead. He doesn't so much as glance in her direction. Something is wrong. Scott shoots up straight.
Who are you? Someone brought you these flowers. Flowers?
Only then does she notice that the doctor is holding a glass vase filled with pure white flowers, fresh and delicate.
No. Something's not right. I heard what you said to the officer. How are you supposed to do a medical check with a flower vase?
Scott vaguely hears her own voice being swallowed, but somehow she doesn't care. All her attention is locked on the vase. Not the flowers, but the vase itself. At first glance, it looked like any other glass item, but now that it's under the sunlight, it is shimmering like crystal, refracting dreamlike colors around the ward.
Is this crystal?
A barrier blocking off her memory suddenly bursts.
It's you, Madam. You said you wouldn't contact me unless something bad happened. Is there something wrong with the object you got?
No, it is perfect. You have been of superb help.
Huh?
It was my honor to serve you, Madam. And I must say, you have incredible foresight. The vigils caught me, but they couldn't get any useful information because I can't remember any.
But you still seem to be in a rather precarious situation.
Yes, but you needn't worry. I can handle this myself.
That is good to hear.
The other end of the communication incantation falls silent. If not for the light still refracting from the vase, she might have thought the other party already hung up.
By the way, I met Matilda not long ago. She was worried about you. Have you not contacted her?
That is not necessary. Were she more perceptive, she would have already discovered me herself. She will find me when she's ready.
The voice on the other side shows little interest in the topic. Scott smirks to herself but struggles to find another excuse to prolong the conversation. But her moment has already passed. The colors twist and her consciousness begins to spiral.
What was I doing again?
I am contacting you to express my gratitude. Merci beaucoup, Miss Scott. And please believe me, you are far more gifted than you think.
The woman's voice rings from a particularly distorted and colorful spot in the room. It is elegant, dignified, and strangely familiar.
Who are you?
The voice does not answer.
However, those black dogs have a keener sense of smell than of thought. I am afraid our relationship has come to an end. Adieu, Miss Scott.
Huh? Wait.
A bullet shatters the vase, shattering the dream and crashing her back to reality. At some point, the door was silently opened. A pair of black leather boots steps over the shards of the broken vase and comes to a stop at Scott's bedside.
Huh, they run fast, that's for sure. Looks like this fish is bigger than we thought. Have you figured out what happened to the two officers?
The woman turns to the cadet. A man, also dressed in the same black uniform, is dragging the unconscious body of the doctor who visited earlier, besides that of the DA officer who had been keeping guard outside.
They're under some kind of hypnosis. Caster's no amateur either. Arcane fluctuations are impossible to trace.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
She crouches down to pick up a shard of glass. As she examines it, her mouth curls into a smile.
Not bad. This is really bad. We already knew Scott was the culprit, but you just had to use her as bait to reel in the fish hiding in the darkness. Now all we have is Scott with no memories of what happened, and a stone-cold trail. Truly genius. And I still don't get why you're keeping all this from Liang. She's your cadet, and right here in the city. We should have had her join the investigation. I can't wait to see her face when she finds out what's been going on. And I'm not defending you this time either.
Faced with her cadet's accusations, the woman feigns innocence.
Defending me? There's nothing to defend. If we told her about our plan, she would have started acting differently and spooked our fish. Besides, the whole point of her field training program in the LAPD was to see if she could handle things on her own. And she's proven that she can. The Division of Arcane Affairs seems to adore her, so I'm sure the Deputy Chief will give her an excellent write-up. Everything's turned out great, hasn't it? See how considerate I am. How I always do things in my cadet's best interests. How could you make me out to be such a heartless, irresponsible monster?
She exaggerates the sorrowful expression, which only makes her cadet roll his eyes in exasperation.
Oh, don't give me that look. Anyway, I think I've got an idea as to what's going on.
Really?
The woman drops her act and smiles knowingly.
Our big fish got away, yes, but just confirming that a fish this big exists has already made this worth our time. Now, back to the stolen arcane items. There are 5 in total, including the cursed film reel and the wind-up toy that the timekeeper shattered. Tell me, Bob, does our fish need all 5 arcane items?
It's Alan, not Bob. How many times do I have to tell you? And to answer your question, no. I don't think so. The wind-up toy has already been destroyed, and the film reel's been recovered by a fellow cadet. These items did cause a few problems, but I don't see any common thread between the incidents they caused.
Correct, Brian. Those 2 items were probably just decoys to divert our attention.
Again, It's Alan.
Ignoring her cadet's correction, she goes on. A clever fish knows how to muddy the waters to hide itself.
They probably
Of
only need one. Take a guess, Buck. Which one?
It's Alan. A-L-A-N. There isn't even a single B in it.
The cadet sighs, half in reluctance, half in realization.
Well, out of the three, which one is... Wait, could it be?
Bingo.
From the way her cadet's face darkens, she can tell he has found the answer.
Does that mean the legend's real? It can really be used in that ritual?
It would seem so.
So, it's Manus Vindicte again.
He speaks the name, his expression grim.
They must have planted a mole somewhere among the Foundation's elites. Someone with clearance to the Arcanum Containment Department.
It seems our fish doesn't wear the black robe.
The woman taps her chin. This response makes her cadet's eyes widen in disbelief.
So you're saying there's someone behind all this who wants to perform that ritual, and somehow has the means to steal from the Foundation? There's just no way.
The stolen items would probably go to the Manus eventually. But I have a hunch that our wily fish isn't totally on their side. Manus Vindicte obviously considered the succubus a valuable asset before she got away, right? So if our fish was a die-hard loyalist, they would have delivered the wind-up toy to their master straightway, rather than letting it be passed around all over the place. While our fish is in collusion with Manus Vindicte, they are swimming in murky waters. They may be pursuing their own agenda.
Is this eternity? She curls her lips into a smile and flicks the shard of glass between her fingers.
Things are starting to get interesting, aren't they? Like I said earlier, not bad at all.
With that, the two figures in black vanish out the door. All right. Done super early. Well, I think it's a good spot to stop. Two and a half, 3 hours, perfect. I just got started early, that's the real answer. Alright, let's look at options for raids.
Right time.
I just want to be where you are, and I'm gonna be there very shortly. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's most exciting.
Movie, you want a smoochie? Meow meow meow. You haven't noticed any instability other than the mental instability in the streamer, right? I haven't seen frame pacing issues or anything in games that have been played
Let's
since the
try and raid
increase.
this guy.
Well, that's good.
113
That's
viewers,
good.
huh?
Yeah, Kuvi, you want a smoochie? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, nothing visual, right? No visual instability.
Oh, but they're probably, I think I remember them.
Yeah. Kuvi, you want a smoochie?
I doubt
I'll
they're...
give you a smoochie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I kiss you. I love you. Yeah. Meow, meow, meow.
Yeah, they don't allow me to raid.
Hi, Brandy, busy making dinner. It's okay, Dazo. I have a popsicle. I'm gonna have a popsicle.
How about this one? Benzo bean.
cheese.
Start gentle. I promise you can taste.
I have to start paying attention to what I'm doing. Oh! Ah, it's loud! Ah! Ah, it's in my head. Oh, it's in my brain. Ah. Snackle Fox V2, thank you for raiding in. Hello, hello, hello. How was your stream? We're just playing some Reverse 1999 right now because this is my first stream back after like 3 weeks of not streaming because I was super busy with life and like many things in life. In my life were changing and stuff like that, so I was like, I'm gonna take a